Hey everyone, it's Tom with Fresh Vintage. We're here with a very, very special guest. This is Patrick Long. Patrick, thank you so
How you
much.
doing?
Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, good to be here.
Thanks for being on the channel, man. You have the distinction of being the only American Porsche driver in the world. I mean, that's just unbelievable. It's amazing. Like, tell me a little bit about like talk about your steps into that to actually
Sure.
go up into that.
Yeah, well, to put the record straight, there actually were many American factory drivers, including Dan Gurney,
Oh,
Hurley
okay,
Haywood,
okay.
but I was the only American on the team from 2003 until 2021 when I retired.
Okay.
So I guess you could say current American factory drivers.
There
The
we go.
works team was anywhere between 8 and 18 drivers, depending on how many programs they had from Weissach in Stuttgart in Germany. And yeah, it was one of these things where I was in Europe as an American chasing a Formula One dream, but really knowing that I didn't have the funding to get into the right cars and the right teams, and probably not the talent either. But along the way, I was picked up by Red Bull for a US Formula One driver scholarship, and that's when Porsche took notice. I got their business card. I called them the next morning, and the rest is history.
There we go. Awesome, awesome. And folks, he was born the same year as I was, so it's like awesome to see him the same year there. Looking at some of these cars, you said you drove. Was it this one here?
Yeah, I
Okay.
drove this 908 behind you. This is a
Okay.
908 Longtail.
Okay.
This car really reigned in the late 60s in overall prototypes, Le Mans, Daytona, Sebring. Really, really a cool car to drive. Super lightweight. It's a 8-cylinder engine, just an amazing soundtrack. And this is the precursor to the 917, if you will,
Okay.
the Golf 917, the Steve McQueen car. So this was a really, really influential time in Porsche motorsport, and it was such an epic era of sports car racing in general.
And just looking at these things they're those like perfection. Like when you look at these things, when you look at the lines and the feel, like what does it feel like in your own words? Like what does it feel like when you get behind the wheel of one of these things?
Well, the first thing that's clear to you is that they're dangerous. They call them plastic cars because everything is built to be lightweight. The engine is massive. So it's essentially like sitting on a shovel with a V8 right at your tailbone. And yeah, the aero started to get really important in these times. This is the Longtail, so it needed to be quick at Le Mans, quick at Daytona, where there were lots of big straights. But also, this car does make downforce, and you can see that they started getting into dynamic adjustments at the rear.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
a very, very cool time. But the reality is, it's got a key, a steering wheel, and a couple gauges. So
Yeah,
you get
absolutely.
in and drive. And technology is not present in this situation. It's air, fuel, and go.
Absolutely, absolutely. And forgive me, folks, I won't try to pronounce. I'm just going to say Luft, but
Yeah.
how would you pronounce it?
Luftgekühlt. Luftgekühlt means air-cooled in
There we go.
German.
Okay.
It's a brand that I co-founded in 2014. I bought my first vintage 911, and I wasn't really looking, I wasn't finding what I was looking for, which is an environment that we see here today, where you have a social gathering, there's education, there's drivers, engineers, people who have done it, but it's just as approachable for the non-Porsche person or the first timer or somebody who's not even interested in cars. We've got music, we've got food, beverages, animals, families, and that's kind of the ultimate excuse for a car guy, right? You want a car girl or guy, you want to be able to take your non-car friends or your significant other, and most of the time when you say like, there's this really great car event, and they're like, oh no, not at a car event.
Yeah,
So that's really
yeah,
what Luftgekühlt
exactly.
was founded on.
And I really appreciate you saying that because it feels like a community. Obviously, growing up, I had a lot of Chryslers and I had some GMs and stuff. But the community here, if Jay would have turned around and see the community here, it's a real friendly. The fact that you're chatting, it's really, I really appreciate that. It's such a friendly, easygoing community. One final question. What do you have, like, I'm assuming you may have more than one car, so to speak, but what's your daily driver, so to speak?
Right now it's a 1996 911 993 C2, so
Okay.
two-wheel drive, pretty base model, silver. It was the purest form of an air-cooled 911 when I was a kid, so I always wanted to have one. And it's such a modern driving car for a car that's from 1996. 6-speed gearbox, great sound system, AC works, 4 seats with seatbelts. I'm a family guy. I've got a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, and so they love going out in that car, and I could daily drive that thing, so I do.
That's awesome. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Patrick.
Nice
Really,
to talk
really
to you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, enjoy
Absolutely,
it.
man. Folks, if you like classic cars, if you like muscle cars, if you like Porsches, if you like tech, if you like scan tools, if you like Patrick Law, definitely like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and make sure you keep it between the ditches.